Hi, everybody. I'm Target 12 investigator Tim White. This is an editorial note at the top of the video. Ted Nesi and I just recorded a segment answering your questions about unemployment. And literally minutes after we recorded that interview, the governor in her press conference, which is playing behind me right now, announced that those of you who are independent contractors, gig economy workers, starting tomorrow or Tuesday, April 7th at 8 a.m., you will be able to apply for unemployment insurance. In the video that you're about to watch, we said that it was unclear as to when that was going to happen, and we urge you to sign up for the mailing list on the Department of Labor and Training. We still urge you to do that anyway because new information on other things that you may need to know will come through that mailing list. But this just shows you how fluid and fast information updates, and we wanted to make sure you had the most up-to-date information at the top of the video. Now let's get to your questions.
Hi, everybody. I'm Target 12 investigator Tim White, joined once again by my colleague from Target 12, our business and politics editor, Ted Nesi. Ted, welcome back.
Good to see you, Tim.
All right, we're going to dive right into these questions. And Ted, as you know, we have launched a new initiative here at Channel 12 for people to get in touch with us, and that is called 12 Responds. So if you have any questions, Ted and I obviously have been focusing a lot on the financial impact of the pandemic, from unemployment to stimulus, so on and so forth. But if you have any questions about coronavirus, including the financials or even health-related questions, you go to the WPRI.com website, click on 12 Responds, and you can submit a question. And also, we've put together a list of commonly asked questions right below that form, so maybe take a peek at that and see if we've already addressed some of the questions that you may have. All right, Ted, let's dive right in. Again, we're getting a lot of questions, as you and I have discussed, about the extra $600 in emergency unemployment benefits that is to be coming at some point or another to folks who are on unemployment. And one email into 12 Responds asked us if the extra $600 in emergency federal unemployment is a one-time payment or if it is weekly. And the answer to that is, Ted, as you know, it's a weekly payment. That not just a one-time, and it's supposed to go all the way to the end of July. Ted, we have a question for you from Barry, and Barry wants to know if that $600 we're talking about applies to TCI, which is a good question because when you think about TCI, which is temporary caregiver insurance, that is also a jobless benefit. So they want to know, would they get that extra $600 if they get TCI?
I do not think so. We're being careful because there's so much uncertainty still, but the basic reason would be TCI as well as TDI, the temporary disability, are state-only programs, whereas unemployment is a federal and state kind of joint program, and the feds are the ones putting that extra $600 into unemployment. So it's not clear to me why or how it would be added to TCI or TDI unless there's something deep in the regulations and the legislation. So if you are on TCI or TDI, I would not count on that $600.
And Gary has a question that is probably the most common one that we've gotten on this. When does the $600 kick in? What's the answer to that?
So we're still waiting for a final hard answer to give you, but we did get some new information because a U.S. Labor Department official spoke confidentially, didn't give their names, to the Wall Street Journal, clearly to put some information out there on where this is going. As we've said multiple times, the Rhode Island DLT and the Massachusetts Department of Unemployment are waiting for the federal government to provide what they need to start giving the money out. That's guidance, rules, regulations, and also just the money being in the accounts for the states at the U.S. Treasury Department to give the $600. So they're saying now, the feds, they think they'll get that, all this stuff the states need out this week. We're taping on Monday, April 6th, so hopefully this week. And I did touch base about that with the Rhode Island Department of Labor and Training. They think they can start to push the money out quite quickly once they have everything they need from the feds. Apparently in some states, it's going to take a few weeks between getting the info from the feds and getting the money out. RIDLT thinks they can move faster than that. And just another question, Tim, we've been getting a lot. The $600 that official told the Wall Street Journal will be retroactive to March 28th. So presumably those of you who were unemployed as of March 28th will get some lump sum representing the $600 a week prorated.
So the bottom line is, to Gary, shouldn't expect that payment this week, it sounds like. At the earliest in Rhode Island, maybe next week. Is that a safe way to summarize it?
I think so. Yeah, I think people should be, as you plan longer term your finances, it's coming. It's law. There's no way it doesn't happen if you're on unemployment. But if you need cash really quickly, I wouldn't count on that $600 being there quite yet. I'd try to find some contingency plans. But hopefully by the end of this week, we'll get a better sense of an actual time when you can see that money in your account.
Okay, we have a question here from Jimmy, and we've gotten this one a couple of times. He writes, I owe an overpayment, and they said I'm not entitled to unemployment benefits until I pay this off. Please tell me I can do something about this. So this is actually apparently fairly common. There can be a lot of reasons that overpayment happens from DLT. It could be a bad calculation. They might have some wrong information. Traditionally, they will withhold your unemployment benefits, but they can also go after your lottery winnings. They can take your tax returns back. But we got a statement. They're trying to change the policy now. We got a statement from the spokesperson at DLT. And as I said, she writes, typically the DLT would retain the entire weekly unemployment insurance payment until the outstanding debt was satisfied. Right now, however, we're working to change the programming to allow claimants to keep 75% of their weekly benefit while the DLT retains 25% to contribute towards their outstanding balance. So, in other words, to the folks who are in Jimmy's situation, they wouldn't just continue to stop weekly payments. You would get 75% of what you would normally receive from the state. But it's clear that hasn't kicked in yet. I'm not entirely sure when that is going to happen, but this is obviously something that is affecting a lot of people, so they are working on it. All right, Ted, you received an email from someone, again, who was asking about that seeking work question that they get for the weekly certification. Normally, you have to be looking for work while you're on unemployment benefits, and you have two options. You either say yes or no. So since I know we've answered this in a previous video, but once again, what do people do in that situation?
Just say yes. This is an emergency, and Rhode Island DLT says they haven't had the time. I don't know what would go into it, but to reprogram the teleserve telephone and online system where you go in each week to claim your benefit for that week. They say just type in yes. Even if you haven't put in a job application or whatever. I don't know if they'll be changing that over time, but right now they just say, just put in yes to keep the system moving.
We have a question from Kristen, and she asks, what about people in the system prior to Corona? Will unemployment insurance be extended for them? And Ted, the question is, from my understanding, is we don't quite know just yet. And you and I have been recommending people go here on the DLT website, and this is the mailing list. What we're unsure of is if people if they'll be automatically extended if they are in or were in unemployment, getting unemployment benefits. But we've been telling people to sign up for this mailing list because we're told that once that is worked out, the DLT will send out a notification to people, and it might be that you have to do something to trigger that extension, or it could automatically happen. So we recommend you plug your email in here to find out when that's going to happen. Anything on that question, Ted, you think I missed?
I just add, Tim, I'd add that the law, the CARES Act, that's the name of the big $2 trillion federal rescue bill, the extension of 13 weeks extra unemployment, which is what takes Rhode Island from 26 to 39 weeks, is retroactive to the end of January. So there will be some people who were signed up earlier who will get that extension, even though it didn't pass into law until March.
Donna is self-employed and out of work. Ted, where does she apply?
All right, self-employed folks, hang in there. I know the delay is brutal. Every day is hard when you've lost your income, but the new pandemic unemployment assistance program, PUA, that is the one that's supposed to cover self-employed, gig workers, 1099ers, all those folks. That is another thing where Rhode Island DLT says they are waiting, and Massachusetts both say they are waiting for the guidance, the regulations for the federal government. You want to sign up on that same mailing list. There it is on your screen again that Tim brought up before, that's where you're going to get the update you need when that application launches. So whether you're looking for the $600, whether you need an extension, or whether you're a type of worker who isn't covered by traditional employment, get on this mailing list so you get that info as soon as it comes out.
Okay, and we're going to stick with you here, Ted. Jeff emailed you, and he said he submitted a claim on Saturday. He got an email that they received it, so that's a good sign for Jeff. But he hasn't received that second email yet, Ted, that you've talked about of those 3 emails. He hasn't received that second one, and he said, is this common right now? Because a coworker of mine received both emails on Saturday. So again, it sounds like that, hey, that situation you and I have talked about, my neighbor got that second email or that third email, but I haven't. What's going on?
It is always possible that someone somehow gets lost in the system or something, but I wouldn't, if I was Jeff, I wouldn't freak out yet. Our understanding is that it can take 7 to 14 days for some of the claims to get from that first email where you get your confirmation number to the one where you get your BYE, and you get told when to call teleserve or go online to teleserve to claim your benefits. And get paid. There's all sorts of reasons. It could be some bit of paperwork had to be done manually for Jeff and not for his coworker, duration of time. There's so much complication to the system, but I wouldn't, certainly for someone who applied on Saturday, I wouldn't get too panicked yet. You're still very much in the window of normal processing, unfortunately. And again, I know it's hard to wait, but our understanding is that's still normal right now. I'd say, once you hit a week, you might start to wonder, but really, I've been telling people until you hit 2 weeks, you're still in, unfortunately, a normal period right now, though hopefully DLT will be able to speed up faster and faster how quickly they process these claims.
All right, Ted, we have a question about the SNAP program, which is the Federal Food Assistance Program. A lot of people know it as food stamps, and this is an important one and a good one. A few emails on this one. Does the $600 extra unemployment money that we talked about, Ted, at the top of this video, does that count toward the SNAP calculation? And Ted, traditionally, unemployment insurance benefits do count towards the calculation for SNAP, right? So, whatever that threshold is to trigger the money for those food stamps. But you talked to the director of the Department of Health and Human Services. What did they have to tell you?
Yeah, I got the director of the DHS on the phone this morning knowing this question was coming up, and she told me, once again, I know people probably get sick of us saying this, Tim, but they are waiting for the federal guidance on how to allocate this. The feds have the rules authority on all these programs, and so the state has to wait until they get permission or the rules. But she did say, for now, they are assuming the extra $600 will be treated as income the way normal unemployment money is, which then goes into your eligibility for SNAP benefits, food stamp benefits. However, she said it is possible that there'll be something unexpected in the federal regulations to waive that. But right now, I would say people should presume that that's going to be treated as income for SNAP eligibility. But, assume that for now, knowing we need a final answer. We don't have a final answer yet.
Yeah, it's probably better to plan, as you say, in that situation. And Ted, finally, last question here, again, through our new 12 Responds section of our website. Someone said, my unemployment ran out 2 weeks ago. Is Massachusetts offering extended benefits? And the answer here on this one, Ted, is the extension, as you pointed out earlier in the video, is a federal program. The question is, what do you do? How do you sign up for it? Or does it automatically kick in? We took a look, but I didn't notice, and maybe you didn't either, Ted, that there's, like Rhode Island's DLT, they don't have any sort of a mailing list situation, but they have this Massachusetts website for the Department of Unemployment Assistance where you can go and sort of monitor and learn any new information that they might have about this topic. I was also wondering, Ted, should this person just sign up for the DLT mailing list? Because either way, that might provide some guidance as to what they should be doing in Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's a good point. Might not hurt. At least you get some information. If you look at the top of the website there, they say right there, CARES Act. Again, that's the name of this big bill, the big $2 trillion bill. Related unemployment benefits for the self-employed and others are currently unavailable as they await federal guidance. So I would say, as you said, I don't see a mailing list for people to sign up for in Massachusetts the way Rhode Island has set up. But I think the best thing to do would be check maybe once a day. If you get antsy, you can check more often, but don't drive yourself crazy. Go Google Massachusetts Department of Unemployment Assistance, and it looks like Tim F. Actually, if you click that update link, they do put a timestamp, a date at the top to tell you the most recent update. So you see here, they updated this, I think that's Friday at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to tell how recent the information is. So, you have to do it more proactively here than in Rhode Island for the setup, but that's where I would keep checking to see what the status is in Massachusetts.
Yeah, and at least if you sign up for the Rhode Island one, Ted, you'll know that maybe there's some new information came in, and that'll trigger you to go check.
Yeah, because the feds, it goes to all the states, and the process will be different in Mass versus Rhode Island, but we got the information should be pretty similar.
All right, Ted. Again, I want to urge people to go to the 12 response section of our website to send us a question. That's the best way to get it to us. And below this video, we're going to be providing you with a whole bunch of links on information that you might need, including the link to that mailing list. And we will post is this our fourth video now, Ted? Our 3 previous Q&As that we've
done 2 together, and you had to go solo when I was at the State House the other day. So thanks for taking the full weight of it.
It was very lonely. I'll tell you that right now. It was very lonely. So we'll post those videos below this one in case there are some other questions you might have that we've already answered. And again, keep them coming. Any question you might have probably helps out a lot of people out there who are in the same situation. So thank you again.
And we should just add, Tim, we are getting so many questions now. And, we've the governor's briefing coming up in 10 minutes. We're trying to get back to as many people as we can, but keep checking these videos too, because if we can't get to you individually, we're going to try for the questions coming up frequently to make sure we tackle them in these videos as we keep doing these as long as all of you need it.
Great point, Ted. And thank you all out there for watching this video here on WPRI.com.